As far as I'm concerned, his contract will officially expire. What's the date today?
Today's the 29th.
Right, okay, tomorrow, and by then midnight to something like that. At which point he has officially left Hearts and is a free agent. The question, of course, is can Hearts persuade him to sign a new deal to start all over again with the club? Clearly, the indications are that Hearts have gone to their maximum, and they're not for budging on it. They feel they have made an offer which would, I think, make Lawrence Shankland the highest paid player at the club, obviously. But they feel that they've done their bit. They've basically put every last chip on the table for Lawrence Shankland, and he's not yet decided that it's acceptable. I think that's probably caused a little bit of frustration with Hearts, but it is where it is. It's now a question of, does Lawrence Shankland and his advisors come back and say, look, great, we'll take that, or do they think there's a better deal for them elsewhere? And I know that Scott was through seeing Derek McInnes last week. I don't know if you've got any more updates than that on it, Scott.
Not really, just pretty much what you've said, Jack. I mean, I do think Hearts have pushed the boat out, and I think Derek McInnes believed that they'd a really good chance of getting this done and getting him on the plane to Spain yesterday for pre-season training. Otherwise, he wouldn't have talked about it. So I think there's a real disappointment there that didn't happen. Reading between the lines, it doesn't look as if there's too much between what Lawrence Shankland wants and what Hearts seem to be offering. So you'd think there's always that chance. But I suppose it depends now on what other offers Shankland's got. I mean, we're told that there's offers there in England and abroad, but what kind of level, what kind of club, what kind of manager? Because as we've said on here many times since Derek McInnes took the job, it feels like a match made in heaven. Shankland teaming up with McInnes again to go and lead this kind of, maybe not a new era, but maybe a kind of new dawn at Hearts with a fresh investment and a kind of revamped squad, new manager. So it feels like a shame that deal's not getting done. But look, it's a massive decision for Shankland because he's 29. It's the last big contract in his career. He has to make the right decision for him and his family. They've between him and his representatives, they've obviously got a kind of figure in mind to sign on at Hearts, and so far it hasn't been met. But the longer it goes, it definitely feels like he's not going to be a Hearts player next season, which is a shame for us because we want to see him. Certainly want to see him in Scotland, scoring goals, doing well. Want to see him in the Scotland squad, especially World Cup qualifiers coming up. He's already, you'd imagine, a wee bit behind in terms of pre-season, so there'll be a bit of catch-up. But no, I mean, certainly, having spoke to Derek McInnes in the last couple of days, there's a real disappointment there that it hasn't happened, and I'm sure the Hearts fans are feeling that as well.
Do you think Rangers should throw their hat in the ring there, Scott?
100%. I don't really understand why they're not. Listen, I've been banging on about Lawrence Shankland to Rangers for years since he was at Ayr United. He then goes on, and a few years later, he ended up basically probably too expensive for Rangers to go and get. But on a free transfer at 29, a guy that guarantees you goals in the Scottish Premiership, why wouldn't you? Especially if Rangers look as if they're about to lose two of their best strikers in Dessers and Egerman.
And you can pick them up for free.
I mean, is he the identikit of a Russell Martin striker in terms of how his teams want to play? Probably not. But we spoke to Stephen Naismith a couple of weeks ago on this very subject, and he agreed with that. He says there's probably other factors that Russell Martin, Kevin Thelwell and the recruitment team at Rangers are looking at in terms of fitting how this Rangers team is going to look. But Stephen Naismith said that you can't put a price on guaranteed goals, irrespective of what style the guy might play in or whatever. He almost compared it to Chris Boyd back in the day. Alec McLeish going and getting Chris Boyd, just an absolute no-brainer at the time because he guaranteed you goals. Even when Walter Smith had him at Rangers, didn't always play him in big games, Old Firm or Europe or whatever, but domestically, guaranteed you goals. I think Shankland is the same. And I'm surprised Rangers haven't got him in the past. I probably thought the ship had sailed about a year ago in terms of Rangers go to try and get him. I think Clement should have went and tried to get him in the January when Rangers were going for the title and had got ahead of Celtic. They didn't do it. I think they brought in Fabio Silva off the top of my head, and obviously we know what happened. We know what happened next. But now with strikers going out the door, Shankland no signing at Hearts. Why not?
Is that something, Keith, you think could perhaps be in Russell Martin's mind?
I'm not sure. I think Scott's hit the nail on the head there a little bit in terms of Russell Martin has a very specific style of play, and I'm not sure that I'll be honest, I'm not sure that Lawrence Shankland is mobile enough to play that position. What I do think though is that if Russell Martin's game plan is about high intensity, getting forward and getting balls into the penalty area, why wouldn't you want Lawrence Shankland in there, because he's such a natural, composed finisher? I